Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hello traders, so when we checked in last, we were watching on Thursday night for the potential of a 4-hour bounce and looking for a lower high. Obviously the bears got way more follow through, and that deserves congrats to the aggressive bears that were either using the 618 fib retracement for entries or whatever other signals that they were acting on. And all that did for me personally is say, okay, just zoom out and use a different time frame. Same concept. I'm patiently waiting for a bounce and a lower high, and I resorted to the 12-hour time frame, and I'm looking at this bounce very similar, or this pullback, very similar to back here in end of April. We were looking for a lower high then, we got it, but then the bulls got continuation, and we're watching for the same thing. So as a patient bear, I am now watching for a 12-hour lower high compared to the top of 29.72, and ideally I want to see one more big fat green day before I start scaling into a bearish position using that high as my stop, because if I start scaling in now, my risk is going to be pretty large. Could this be a 12-hour bear flag? Yes, that's a possibility. Size of the bounce is not significant enough at this point to negate that. If it's a weak bounce, it's a potential bear flag. If it's a strong bounce, we're watching for an equilibrium. I had headed into this morning with an if-then scenario. If we start weak, I'm looking bullish because of this pullback. And the fact that the 12-hour time frame was a waterfall from the highs, and the fact that we're still in a daily uptrend. If we start strong, I patiently wait for that bounce and for that bearish entry. So we started weak with gap down opens, which told me very clearly what direction I want to be looking today, which was bullish, and I've stuck with trading CCL. So I traded CCL today, had a really good day, and that's just my horse. Until it loses its volatility in both directions. I think I was 4 for 4 bullish, 2 for 2 bearish, and at this point, I've only been trading it for 6 trading days, but it's been very good in terms of its volatility. So once I find something, I stick with it until it's no longer serving me. And I wanted to do a trade review for CCL, but I ran out of time here today. But just going to be watching for a lower high set here as well. Huge range, just looking for the lower high. So back to SPY. Is SPY still in a daily uptrend? Absolutely. Anything above 272 is a higher low for me. Is this our daily higher low being set? It looks that way. We changed the hourly trend bullish, but I want to see a break of the high of today tomorrow to confirm our daily higher low is set, and then watch our key 294.88 resistance. Although the key actual resistance for me is the extended hours euphoric push that we saw. So for all names, whether it's Tesla or whatever name you're looking at, look at extended hours, because that resistance is the most important for me. So let's see how tomorrow goes. Again, knowing I want a bearish entry, but I want more green first. Hourly higher low on SPY, 280.20, and that hourly uptrend is the most important factor for me in the short term. IWM, is our daily higher low set? Potentially. Bulls need to break the high of today tomorrow for that to be the case, and then we're going to watch for a lower high compared to 136.85. If we were going to see just straight up bull moves into continuation, it would require very notable bull volume, in my opinion, to cover the ground that we pulled back. QQQ, solid day today. It stood out as a clear lead bull for the majority of today. We had a support at 211.21. We broke that level by 9 pennies. Pretty convincing, or I should say an unconvincing break. And if we break the high of today, we'll have a new key short-term support level, and we'll be looking back to our high, which again, the after hours high of 223.04 is very different than the regular trading hours high of 220.04. It's the extended hours that is most important to me, because that was our euphoric push that marked our temporary top. Financial sector, 3 gap up, bearish reversal pattern, beautiful follow through. 3 gap down, bullish reversal pattern, and bulls that bought that dip were rewarded. Is this a daily high or low? I need a break of 21.89 tomorrow to say yes it is. And then, because of the size of the pullback, I would be expecting a daily lower high compared to our double top of 23.66. The tighter our daily ranges get, the less day-to-day opportunity there is as a day trader. So if I'm anticipating SPY is going to give us a tightening daily range, I know that I need to be making my gains now while the volatility is higher. And if we do bounce and if we do form lower highs into middle of this week, I know that volatility is going to shrink, which means my opportunity as a day trader is going to shrink as well. Healthcare sector, key support 96.62, that held. Have to see the bulls break the high of today tomorrow, and then we will be watching for the potential of a head and shoulders pattern, where if we fail to break the high of 102.26, although again, I care about the extended hours high, but if we fail to break that resistance, it's a potential right shoulder forming. Something we're keeping an eye out. We know what the bears have to do to prove it to us. We saw bearish reversal candles on the weekly time frames last week, and if you're going to follow through with it, bears, give us a daily downtrend. Give us a lower high and lower low. Then we'll believe you. Until that happens, I don't believe you. Biotech, huge bounce, still in a daily uptrend. Daily high or low very clearly set at 89.45, and it's all about 99.79 resistance. Hourly uptrend is our short-term guide, and as long as the hourly uptrend is intact, the bulls are in complete control. Very notable day for the bulls. All about the top of this move resistance. SMH. Have to break the high of today tomorrow. Then we're watching for a lower high compared to the top of the move. And again, same thing for everybody. Some names are more likely to form lower highs than others, like XLF. Much more likely to form a lower high than QQQ. Because XLF distance we have to cover is 7+%, 8%. QQQ, to see continuation from here, the distance that we have to cover is under 3%. That's a very big difference. TLT, still not entirely clear, so I zoom out. The weekly, most important level, 163.48. As long as that holds, the weekly uptrend remains intact. That's what I'm watching, and that's the most important support level for me. The VIX, looking like a daily lower high is set. So we were talking about how if we were going to see a daily trend change here, it would likely have to be an inverse head and shoulders. Just like if we're going to lose daily uptrends on a lot of names, we're going to be looking at a head and shoulders. So the bulls are going to have to hold 30.50 and see a bull break of 40.30 to try and change this daily trend. CGC. So CGC had a gap. No, I don't want to cover CGC. I forgot to fill in the rest of my tickers here. Gold and silver. So gold, daily, trying to form this higher low. Again, we're watching this tightening range. High, low, lower high, higher low. Anything under 13, make that 17.39 is just a lower high. And that is the most important resistance level. It's entirely possible gold tightens up into next week. If we see a bit more bounce follow through and then consolidate a little bit, just a sideways channel to be watching. Silver, much weaker. Silver is closing near the low of the day, and there's not many clear supports nearby. And if you look at the XAU, XAG chart, big green day, telling us that gold is continuing to gain ground on silver. We set the weekly higher low as we anticipated, and now we're watching for a weekly lower high compared to 128.69, but there's no sign of that being set yet. Miners, GDX daily higher low is set. That is now at 31.33. Resistance of 34.74 is in play. We would have to fail to break that resistance and drop down and break 31.31 support in order to be in a daily downtrend. If we break 34.74, the bulls keep full control of the daily uptrend, and we're a bit stronger in the miners than we are in gold itself, which the miners are liking. Oil, let's look at the June futures contract. Continuation from the daily trend change. The 4-hour uptrend is our key short-term guide. We double bottomed at 18.07 and 18.05 and then broke resistance. So 18.05 is now the most important short-term support for me. And we're now zooming out and looking for a weekly lower high to form compared to 33.15. And last, we'll wrap it up with Nat Gas. So Nat Gas recovering from the weakness on Friday, The most important factor for me on natural gas is the daily higher lows. 1, 2, another one at 1643, another one at 1711, and we have to see a bull break over 1956 resistance if we are going to get any follow through, followed by $2 and 203 as the most important resistance levels from there. So I would say bulls are going to keep their short-term control as long as these little higher lows can remain intact, and that is the most important factor for me. So if I were in a bullish position, which I'm not, I made a New Year's resolution not to trade natural gas just because it was one of my bigger losses from 2019. So stick with your winners and ditch what doesn't work. So I'm not trading natural gas, but if I were in a bullish position, that daily uptrend, those daily higher lows, I should say, would be the most important factor for me. So let's see if we get bounce follow through into tomorrow. Highs of today need to break, and then it'll be all about our highs in extended hours from the end of last week, or middle of last week, I guess it was, as the most important resistance levels. And again, I will be looking to establish bearish positions. I will have clearly defined stop levels where if we see higher highs continue, I will be completely out of my bearish positions. And that's that. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. So the last frost we had damaged some of the potatoes. You can see that little guy. These ones were all fine. And then the 4 over here all got hit with the frost as well. The interesting thing is, they are all the same kind. They were all planted at the same time. This bed gets sunlight first. So I think just the age of the plants, these ones were slightly smaller, less developed, and more susceptible to the cold. But that doesn't really matter at this stage. The green just regrows, as you're seeing, and it doesn't impact their ability to focus energy on potatoes later in the summer. Carrots and beets, just weeded those out the other day. You can see the greens are outpacing the flea beetles, and we've been thinning this as we go as well. Just weeded the other kale patch. These are, look at these gnarly stems, because again, these are from over winter, where I just pretty much stopped paying attention to them for a few months, and they're doing absolutely fine. Safe.